Are we officially at time? I can start going? Sweet. Okay, so first, welcome. This is awesome to see folks here today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the decision to go to art school and why it might be right for you. Before we get going, you'll notice that I have my mask off because of clarity with the microphone. If you decide that you want to move, it's all good. Nobody's going to judge. Likewise with our panelists. So, all right, so let's go ahead and start off with introductions. Eunnie?
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Eunnie. I'm an illustrator and a cartoonist. I love drawing characters. I just came out with my graphic novel last year called If You'll Have Me. It's a YA sapphic rom-com, very much in the spirit of like shoujo romance. Yeah, that's me.
Hello, everyone. I am Mad Rupert. Mad is short for Madeline. I'm not angry. I've been in comics for about 10 or 12 years. I author 2 ongoing web comics, long format. One of them is Sakana, which you can read for free online. And the other one is for adults only. And I've also done a lot of licensed comics for Cartoon Network properties like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Steven Universe, Bee and Puppy Cat, Bravest Warriors, all kinds of stuff like that. Most recently, I did a graphic novel with my very dear friend Ngozi here. It's called Bunt. It is more or less about our experiences in art school in a fictionalized way. So we've got a lot to talk about on this subject. And most recently, I am moving into concept art for video games. And that's me.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Sometimes I like to pretend that I'm a, elementary school teacher. Hi, guys. My name is Ngozi Ukazu. I am a graphic novelist. And I am probably most well known for a webcomic series called Check Please, which is the story of a former figure skater who loves to bake. And, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. He loves to bake and it's very gay. I recently started working for DC Comics, which has been fun. I'm working now on a graphic novel that's the opposite of Check Please, about a, furious space prince who has to kill his evil dad. Well, yeah, it's kind of like Check Please. I also work for The New Yorker, which has been really fun. I do single panel gags for them and sometimes longer form comics. And yeah, I'm so excited to have worked on Bunt with Madeline Rupert sitting right next to me. And that is a story of students at an art school who have to win one game of softball in order to get athletic scholarships. So we do have so much to talk about today because we did spend like 5 years.
It was a little delayed. Yeah. I'll be honest.
There was a pandemic in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, we basically poured all of our experiences into this book. So excited to talk about that today.
Awesome.
Sweet. All right. So I'm seeing all the books, and I know you mentioned that at least one of them is available to read for free. Are they also in our vendor hall?
No, these are all like self-published.
Okay.
So you can find them on my online store, but yes, the entire comic is free to read at sakana-comic.com.
Okay. Because, if people walked away curious, I wanted to make sure they're...
Oh, yes. If you're curious, you can absolutely come right up to me and I will write it down for you and give it to you.
I talked to Mad last year. I promise they didn't bite me. So, all right. So first question, how long have you known you wanted to go into art as a profession? Eunnie, you want to start it off?
Sure. So I remember in my senior year of high school, I believe it was part of a career fair, but there was an art school, which I only hesitate to say the name because I'm about to put it on blast. But there was a booth that Cornish College of the Arts had there. And so I picked up a flyer and I was interested. Me and my friend went to one of their portfolio reviews on campus. And up until that point, I had never really considered art as a career, but I was realizing that I do love it a lot. And I feel like the goal is to, if I'm going to get a job that I like. So I thought, why not go? Yeah, why not go?
You don't want to hate your life for the next, 40 years, right?
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, when I was younger, I think about 10 years old is when Pokemon first came to the United States.
Nice.
Full time, 1999. It's when the first cards made their way into my elementary school, and I was like, what are these? I liked to draw since then. I drew all of the Pokemon, and then from there, I just continued to draw. I loved to draw as a child. I wasn't exactly sure whether I wanted to go to art school when I was, getting ready to apply to college. I thought maybe I wanted to go into animation or maybe writing or maybe theater or something. And then, yes, I went to a college for my freshman year to go to their fledgling animation program. And I realized that the only actual drawing art that would be done in all 4 years was one elective studio art class. And at that moment, I realized, oh, no, that's what I wanted to do. That is actually what I wanted to do. So I transferred to the Savannah College of Art and Design in my sophomore year of college. And it was the best decision I ever made. So,
Right, Ngozi.
Yeah, so I am the child of immigrants. And thanks for the woo. There was a singular woo. And when my parents came to this country, they probably did not imagine that their child would want to go to art school because artists are well known for not having any money. Wow, this is a tough crowd. Everyone's like, yeah, it's true.
yeah.
So I never in my mind thought that I would go to art school. I was raised a STEM girly. I was like, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to do science. I'm going to learn biology. I'm going to be a pharmacist. Because again, when you're a Nigerian kid, you're supposed to be a pharmacist, engineer, a lawyer or something. And it was not until my sophomore year of college where I was not failing my computer science classes, but finding them difficult in a way that made me question every decision in my life. That I was in my dean's office and I was sobbing there, and he was like, you should maybe do art. And I said, shut up, Dean Farley. I didn't tell him to shut up, but I said, that's crazy. I can't do that's not a career. And he's like, no, it is a career. You should research it. You should think about it, and you could probably make it work. So that's when I went on my art school journey. I started taking more art classes. I ended up majoring in this very strange major called computing in the arts, which sounds fancy, but it's just a cobbled together Frankenstein major. And then after that, I was like, okay, let's go to actual art school. I did not go to college for art. I went to college for engineering. And then, I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design
For grad school.
To get my MFA. And that's where I met Madeline.
Yes, because I went through my BFA at SCAD, and then I just went right into MFA at SCAD, and that's where Ngozi and I met each other.
Yeah, and we need to tell our origin story. Our meet cute.
When we were enemies.
Enemies to lovers. Back to enemies.
No.
But yeah, that's when I decided, okay, let me take this seriously, work on my draftsmanship, learn about sequential art, and then, there you go.
All right, cool. There are a lot of art schools out there, a lot of different choices. So how did you decide which one you wanted to go to? What were you looking for?
I can start. For me, my biggest thing, for whatever reason, I just focused on the fact that if you can draw well, you'll get hired to work at anywhere. So I just wanted to get better at drawing. And some schools, when it came to SCAD, the sequential art
The
major.
Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yes,
just to remind everyone.
Savannah College of Art and Design is SCAD. When it came to SCAD, the sequential art major, it was so focused on producing pages. And I was like, okay, I'll learn how to draw if I go to this school. So that's really why I ended up going.
I decided that I was going to leave the college that I was at in my freshman year, but I didn't know that I was going to do that until a month from the end of the school year, when one of my roommates came up to me and was like, I'm thinking about not coming back next year. And I was like, oh, I guess that's an option. You're right. And they're like, hey, Madeline, you like to draw so much. You know, I have a friend that like goes to the Savannah College of Art and Design, and they told me that it's free to apply any day in May. And I was like, it's free to apply. I don't know if is that still a thing that you have to like pay to like apply to some school?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I heard that it was free to apply, and I was like, oh, awesome. I'll apply. And I looked through their catalog, and I was like, oh, sequential art, comic books? You can major in comic books? That sounds like so much drawing. So I applied because it was free. They accepted me. I did not visit the college beforehand. I just moved from Boston, Massachusetts down to Savannah, Georgia, and stayed there for the next 8 years.
That is so crazy.
And then I moved back to Boston, Massachusetts, and that's where I live now.
Wow. And I also feel like sequential art is a name given just to make parents happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
pretending not
Okay.
to be comic books, but it is.
Yeah, because if you put comic books, like, no.
We went to clown college.
We did. We went to funny book school,
We went to Garfield
Garfield
Elementary.
school.
Hey, watch out. Seattle has a Garfield, but it's a high school.
Oh,
Garfield the cat school.
so you learned Garfield there.
No, actually, we got a really good jazz program, though. All right, how about you?
For me, it was just about proximity. It was the closest one to me. So a very practical reason, just like realistically, financially, and like just looking at the commute and stuff, which was still very long. That's why I ended up choosing Cornish. Yeah.
Path of least resistance.
Thank
okay.
you.
That's the theme I'm seeing here. Okay. So with that, then, was there a non-art school that was in competition?
There was not.
It was always art school.
My eyes on the prize. Yeah.
I mean, for undergrad, I went to a liberal arts college we'll get to that later in the conversation, but I do think a liberal arts college or a non-art school background does help.
Yes. The first college I went to was Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts, which is a good, like, it's like a media arts college. So it's big into like TV and theater.
A lot of comedians.
Yes,
from
a lot of
Emerson.
comedians, a lot of like journalists, a lot of writers come out of Emerson. So I was like sort of in the right place. It's just not like a visual art school, which I would have gone to mass art maybe, but I heard that there was like some classes that you could maybe take in tandem with them, but that I had no access to them in the Emerson program at all. So I got so fed up that I moved all the way across the country. So,
All right, the power of frustration.
yes.
Okay, so with that, then, what is the difference between going to an art school or going to a more traditional school that has an art program?
I can't speak much on this. I will defer to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say in most academic settings, if you are majoring in art, you're probably majoring in fine art or maybe experimental, like project-based art. I know for I went to Yale for undergrad, and they really focus on getting people into galleries. And that's typically what you see. It's not really illustrative art. If you're going, especially for liberal arts colleges, they really want you to produce like new, like experimental art projects. And I know for art school, because I think what's SCAD's tagline is like the creative careers, school for creative careers.
Yeah, it's a school for creative careers.
And so it's definitely, I think most art schools, there's some that want you to go in that direction of like studio, gallery, fine art.
I mean, there is a fine arts program at SCAD,
Yeah.
but it's like in the minority.
Yeah.
Of whereas, yes, a traditional like liberal arts college will probably have that as its only art program. In some cases, they're like probably commercial art.
There you go.
Is what you would want to look more into if you were at a liberal arts college. That way, at least, they would be teaching you more like graphic design or illustration or maybe sequential art, or storyboarding or something like that. But yeah, there's a big difference between commercial art and fine art as electives or as curriculums.
And so I think a school like SCAD or most art schools want people to go into commercial art. Yeah.
So why do you think they want people to go into the commercial arts?
I think it's commercial art is, I think, more of like this is a normal job sort of track. Fine art is, I can't speak to fine art very much because it's never really like been on my radar as something I wanted to like honestly pursue. I think that's has a lot more to be like totally frank. I think that has a lot more to do with like self-expression and like saying something. And commercial art is like I have to get a job. So, but I like the I have to get a job hustle. So I like commercial art.
I would just say that fine art kind of is in the same realm as like, literature or research. It's just I don't know. I think it's kind of packaged together with academia where, you're going to get an MFA. You want to create new work just like you would get an MFA in English and hopefully publish novels. It's just a parallel to like a literary track.
But in like a visual art sort of way.
Yeah, I was just remembering that just before we started the panel, we were talking about that W-2 job.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's my singular goal.
Yeah, right. Because, benefits and things like that. Okay, so what can you do at what can you do at art school for undergraduate that is different than graduate school? Like, what's the difference between doing art school in one versus the other?
Do you want to talk about your undergrad experience first?
Oh God, I'm like not sure what to say. Undergrad.
How well do you think your undergrad experience prepared you?
Oh, how well it prepared me?
Like what major skills were you taught?
Well, I know for our foundation classes, I think that did help, just like your basic art foundational skills. There was like figure drawing. Oh,
Pull that a little bit closer.
oh, hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah. The foundational classes did help. I know I just have problems with Cornish as an institution.
We can get to that.
Yeah, because like halfway through my time there, they switched over to like a module system, and I felt that was giving us more like breadth and not the depth that I wanted from a course. And so I just had problems with that. Otherwise, I think it's okay. I like what I mostly value from my time there is like the friends we made along the way, essentially. Yeah, and the professors, like the teachers as well. Yeah. I don't know that it's, yeah. Yeah.
So that networking time is really creating those relationships and
Yeah, like just having an environment of creative minds. Yeah.
I'll let you know, sidetrack. I was once in the Cornish media programming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was me and a friend who I've never been to Cornish. I've never stepped foot in any of their buildings. But a friend of mine who went to Cornish and I was kicked out. We were having coffee at the Joe Cafe and somebody took our picture. We didn't know why, but we ended up in like the recruiting material.
Oh my God. Please.
So that's my association with Cornish right there.
Yes, okay.
So yeah, undergraduate versus graduate school.
It's funny because we're actually sitting in the perfect Venn diagram.
Yeah, yes.
Where Eunnie did undergrad, I only did grad,
And I
Matt
did both of them.
Matt is the intersection. So my undergrad, I think I learned so much about writing, business, networking in a different way, really just meeting very different people. And I think graduate school was really perfect for me because the MFA was so focused. I was just learning the craft of comics. I didn't take any foundational classes. I probably needed to, but I was just making comics off the bat.
Oh.
So yeah, I would say that because I didn't have to explore, like you spend a lot of undergrad exploring what you want to do. It was nice to just jump into the MFA program with like a very, very, like, we weren't doing storyboards. We weren't doing like animation. We were making comics from day one.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like when I went into undergrad, I knew that I loved to draw and everything. But yeah, the undergrad program at SCAD, and keep in mind this was several years ago. So I graduated from undergrad in SCAD in 2011. So things may or may not be different now. The undergrad program was definitely about teaching you like the rapid fire skills that you would need to survive as a comic book artist, which I think were great. I excelled in that. That was exactly what I wanted to do. They did not teach you the business doing your own taxes or anything like that, which I think was an extreme moral failing of that art school. But and then in grad school, well, so the reason I decided to do grad school right after undergrad, well, I took a year in between, was because I would not have gone. You're not really supposed to do the same program at the same place for undergrad and grad. That's typically not recommended. But I had a good relationship with all of my professors. I had done really well in all of my classes. So I sort of like goaded them all at knife point, not at knife point, but I was there in all of their offices being like, hey, I know that there's a full ride scholarship for grad school and you want to recommend me, right? So they did, and so I got it. So that's why I went to and got an MFA at the same place. But yeah, and then in the MFA program, it was basically a lot like undergrad. So if you're worried that you're going to miss something in undergrad, as long as you have like an okay foundation of drawing by the time you get to grad school, they're basically going to teach you a lot of the same techniques. You're going to go through a lot of the same classes. They're just a lot more targeted to what you specifically want to do, because you're sort of coming in older with more clarity. You've had experiences in college already. You have a foundation in something. And so they're just going to kind of give you the right direction to move in a little bit more. So in fact, I started taking illustration classes instead because I was like, I got to get something new or else I'm just going to take all the same classes twice.
Well, and that was one of the other questions is, when you first went into school, did you know what medium you wanted to eventually produce in, what you wanted to explore? Or did things change once you got there, when you were exposed to different things?
Yeah, so I knew just something involving digital art. I don't know if I had a clear vision of what position that I was like envisioning in my mind. So actually, like when you're talking about grad school and stuff, I was like, wow, should I do grad school? Because like, that's cool. I mean, maybe the problem for me was also that like, I wasn't sure what my goal was. I did take a comics class during my time at Cornish, but I didn't think of pursuing it as like a career until after I graduated. So yeah, I'm sorry, did that answer the question?
It's all about you.
Okay.
Do not go to grad school.
Oh, do not? Okay.
You are a published author.
Okay. If you've already reached a certain metric, in your career, you don't necessarily have to go to grad school. If like that was sort of my problem, was that I was already working in comics by the reason that they gave me the full ride scholarship was because I was already working full time in like the Adventure Time regular show comics. So basically I just submitted like a full 22-page issue of those every few weeks, regardless of what assignments they gave me for classes. And my professors were kind enough to sort of accept that and just let me go.
She's producing. We're not going to stop her.
Exactly. That's the what they're trying to get for you. What they're trying to do for you is get you to a position where you can be working in comics. So that was, a job well done.
Yeah, when I went into SCAD, I thought that I was training myself for a career in animation. I wanted to leave with a storyboarding portfolio, and then I started my webcomic. And that quickly derailed all my plans.
Webcomics always do.
Yeah. What is that? The best like webcomics of mice and men. Trying to make a joke. Tough crowd. Just kidding. Yeah.
I caught it.
Yeah. But best laid plans of mice and men. But essentially, I was very quickly derailed and realized that, oh, no, I'm going to be a webcomic artist. And that led to me becoming a graphic novelist. So yeah, I thought I was going to go into animation because that was the W-2 job I was going towards. And then, no, it didn't work. Period.
All right, so we're going to get on a little bit of a dicey topic here.
Yeah.
You're thinking about going to art school. you tell your parents.
How about for a show of hands, who here is thinking about art school? Raise your hand. Some very timid hands. Oh,
Yeah.
you're sitting next to a parent too?
All right. We were remembering you, Dad. We were remembering.
But I like how the hands range from people being like, to people being like, yeah. And who here has already gone to art school? Okay.
Very nice.
So why are you here?
Oh no.
I'm just kidding.
We're here to commiserate.
We're here to commiserate.
Or maybe they're thinking about grad school.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And the question is,
How do you have that conversation with your parents? Because it's an investment.
yes.
College in general is an investment. And as we've already said, artists have a certain reputation for not exactly being flush with the monies. So yeah, what would you recommend to having these conversations?
I think we kind of had a little meeting before this panel, and I think you put it really well, Madeline, of just having a plan.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be going to arts, because I had to have this conversation with my parents when I told them because they were kind enough to help me through college, and I told them I don't want to go to Emerson anymore. I want to go to SCAD. I want to be a comic book artist. every parent's worst nightmare. But I had a discussion with them where I was like, I know that this is a gamble. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know that it's difficult to sort of make it like this. So I'm committed to doing my best in this. I'm going to try and get the best grades that I can. I'm going to try and, access all of these resources that it's going to give me. And, we'll see how it goes. And if it's not going well, then maybe I'll switch again, and I'll maybe here's some options for where I could go or what I could do if this doesn't seem like it's something that I'm interested in anymore. And I think that was an important conversation to sort of have with them beforehand, to be like, I understand what I'm getting into as much as you can at that age. I understand that it might not work. I understand that I'm taking resources that you are giving me, and I have to make the best with them that I can. Put my money where my mouth is. Draw funny books. This was a very serious conversation about comic books. But yeah, and then I think the best thing you can do is if you're at art school and you're 3 years in and you're not feeling it, you can just get out of there. You can leave. You can start something else. If you're not feeling it, if you realize you like to read comics more than you like to make them, you can go. You can do something else. No shame at all.
And someone might argue, well, don't you want to get the degree? It doesn't really help that much in the industry. So
what you're going for is practice, is knowledge, is connections. Nobody's going to look at MFA in comic books on your resume and say.
Now, though I am kind of sad I don't have that on my resume right now. I think that'd be a good conversation starter.
What they will look at is the comics that you've made. So
the absolute biggest thing, if you want to specifically go into something like comics, I mean, video games or concept art is the same, is your finished projects are your currency in this industry.
your portfolio is king.
Yes. So that is the absolute most important thing. And if I could just jump in, I would say if you are interested in talking to your parents about this, events like these are actually pretty perfect. Seeing that people like us can actually survive in the world and, dare I say, thrive in the world as artists, and just letting them know the little nitty gritty steps that go into actually having a career in the arts.
Well, and I was remembering beforehand, Eunnie, what I feel like your job right now is probably the most parent friendly of the job. So can you talk about what it is that you're doing?
Oh my gosh, being a graphic novelist.
Well, no, I was thinking more of the other part.
Oh, my God.
Your day job.
Your day job.
Oh, my day job. Oh, yeah.
You're the only one with a day job
Yeah,
here.
that's right. After I graduated college, maybe several months later, I got a job at a games company in Seattle. I'm a production artist, and I make or character artist, and I make assets for mobile games and desktop games like that. Yeah, so that is my day job. It's nice to have health insurance and a steady paycheck. That's very nice, so that I can continue doing my passion on the side. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's part of it, concurrent planning. You can have your passion work and also have other revenue streams, other experiences, and it doesn't mean you're selling out. You're not deluding yourself.
Absolutely not.
Please pay your rent. It's important.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thinking back, way back. What was your favorite or most impactful project while you were at school? Favorite and impactful might be different. So if you have two things, I'm good with that.
I would say my most impactful project was Check Please. It's the webcomic that I started the summer after I graduated undergrad. And I remember we had a class called self-promo class, which was essentially a class to teach us about how we advertise our own work. But we had a final project in that class where you could choose your poison, choose what you wanted to do for self-promotion. I decided to do a Kickstarter, which I realized was, I don't know, my prefrontal cortex had not finished developing. I don't know why I was like, oh yeah, for a grade, I'm going to see if I can do a successful Kickstarter. And I did a Kickstarter to launch the first volume of my webcomic to print it. And
Went bananas.
it was so scary because I had no safety net at that point. I had taken out loans to go to SCAD. And basically this Kickstarter, outside of being just a grade, would also determine whether or not I could maybe work on comics full time after this. And I launched the Kickstarter in class, which
I was there, right?
I know
Yeah,
you were
I was
there. Everyone was there, and everyone had the Kickstarter page up on
we were
their
all like
computers.
watching it like, holy shit.
Well,
I'm sorry. Dang it. No, I'm sorry. Holy gosh.
Holy gosh. But the thing is that what if it had failed in class and you guys would have been like, too bad, Ngozi. But it did pretty well.
Yeah.
And it honestly changed my life trajectory. It's why I'm able to do comics full time.
Well, but also don't be afraid of failure. I mean,
Yeah.
part of school is the opportunity to try things and maybe be awesome or maybe be not so awesome. And that goes for whatever school you're
sure.
in. So,
I do think that is one of the biggest pros of doing art school. It is one of the safest places where you can fail. And if you learn how to fail quickly and early, that could really help build a foundation for a successful art career where you're not afraid of failure.
Yeah. My most impactful project was when I was a junior in undergrad I think this was December 2009. I got accepted onto SCAD's yearly Cartooning in Tokyo trip. So it was like a 3-week program where you would go to Tokyo and learn from an artist. And it was basically like a truncated quarter of classes. And at the end of that, we had to make 11 comic strips based on something that we thought was really cool while we were in Tokyo. And I had gone to the Tsukiji fish market at 4 a.m. in the morning. It was the most incredible place I've ever been, incredible thing I've ever seen. So instead of doing like an autobiographical comic, I made the first 11 comic strips of Sakana. And that was 14 years ago.
Wow.
So,
How many?
it's over 650 pages long now, and it will be over 800 pages long when I'm done. So.
and 3 published books.
3 published, three
Compilations.
successful Kickstarters. Eventually there will be a 4th. But this has been basically my entire life since then.
All starting off in school.
Yep, all in school.
I'm sensing a theme here because for me, my most impactful project would also be I did an independent study in my senior year of college where it was basically like you can choose a project as long as you had like approval and supervision by a teacher. And I chose to make a comic that would later become my graphic novel. Yeah. My book. And I mean, it was very much in a different iteration of that comic, but I feel like it was one that I needed to get out to like get to this point, So like just thinking about what you said with like making bad art and stuff, like you're gonna make bad art, you get that out of the way.
You have to make
the good art.
100 bad pages
Yes.
before you can make 100 slightly better pages
Yeah.
before you can make 100 okay pages. But you have to start.
Real, yeah.
Well, and it's a resilience thing that, when you fail and you keep going and eventually.
Perfection is the enemy of everything.
Oh, for real. Okay. All right, and honestly, I have no idea how much time we have left, so. Okay, plenty of time. So what's your fondest memory of school?
Yes. I don't know if I have like a specific one. I mean, once again, the friends we made along the way. Just like, I remember just screaming with my friends in the printer room because the printer is having problems, and like we're staying late at school to finish a project, and maybe we'd be like the only ones left on the floor. And so we'd be like blasting music and just like singing and screaming. And yeah, I think definitely those were the times that I think of fondly when I look back at for my college experience. Just because like we were all in the same boat. We're all just like nerds who love to draw. Just the sense of community, I guess, camaraderie. Yeah, that is something that I miss when I think about it, because I don't get that as much in like my day-to-day anymore. Just
But are you still hanging out with those same nerds?
some of them,
No.
yes. Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's just because we all have like things, we're busy. It's so like, okay, are you free in 3 months? Okay. Like, keep me posted, that sort of thing. But yes, no, I still value those friendships very much. Oh.
Right.
Do you want to tell the story?
We should tell our origin story.
Yeah, I've been wanting to hear this. So
Yeah,
please.
how did we
I'm just gonna
meet?
sit.
Okay, so you
I usually, I start, okay.
you start.
Long story short is that I was obsessed with financial aid going into grad school. I had gone to school for free, luckily, for undergrad. And I was like, how do I replicate this in grad school? And I had heard of someone at SCAD in my grad program who had gotten a full ride scholarship.
Mysterious.
A mysterious person who had gotten a full ride scholarship. Yo, that's like $50,000 or something.
You don't have to put the number out there.
I'm gonna put this person on blast.
Yes.
But they went to school for free, and I was like, I'm gonna find who. I didn't get it, so I was
kill him.
I was gonna kill him. So I was furious. I was just like, I just graduated from Yale University. Why can't I also get a full ride scholarship? Anyway, that person's name was Madeline Rupert. And I was like, oh, big whoop. How good is this person? I Googled their name. And as soon as I opened Mad's comic, I was like, oh, yeah, they deserve this scholarship. And that's how I first heard of you. But it was also, we were paired together I was taking Larison's
Yeah, it was
drawing course.
2 separate classes.
Yeah.
There's a foundational art course, which you were also mad that I didn't have to take.
Oh, yeah, Madeline didn't have to take those classes either.
Because I had just gone through undergrad.
Because you were an amazing artist.
But yes, there was a foundational arts courses that you were taking at the very beginning of the
Yes.
grad program, and
Yeah.
I was in scripting.
Yes.
So we had
We were through fate,
Through
paired
fate.
paired together.
the worst script I've ever written.
It was not bad.
Given
It was good.
Yeah, no, you have to understand at this point. Here's something that I can tell everybody. I lost that full ride scholarship for 1 quarter because I got super bronchitis. There was a death in the family, and like all of these things just got me down so far at one point that I got B's in 3 classes and lost it for 1 quarter. So I took 1 single class on my own dime the next quarter, which was scripting.
God.
And if I were to get like an A, like an A plus in this, I would get the scholarship back. So it was like a very fraught time for me.
Wow. Stakes were
The
high.
stakes were very high, but I was still very sick. So I was in. So Ngozi got my script, the worst script I've ever
was not
written
the
in my
worst
life, and I got an email.
I got
an email
from an ambitious dork.
from a person named Ngozi Ukazu, and I was like, who the hell is this? And the email said, oh, well, I read your script and I have some notes.
Oh my god!
Because it was Ngozi's job to draw a few pages.
It was my job to draw pages. I don't know why I was like, well, here's what I think about your script. Anyway,
I didn't respond to the email.
you should have deleted it.
I was like, this isn't part of the class. I'm not responding to this. So then, yes, there was the class where we brought the 2 classes together, and it's like, okay, this person drew this person's script. And so they were like, okay, here's Madeline's script, and Ngozi drew it.
And I am sitting in the back like Hermione Granger, and I'm like, oh, well, so I got this script, and blah, 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 blah. I have these things to say, and then you turn around.
So I had bronchitis, like horrible bronchitis, for about 2 months at that point. I was sicker than I had ever been in my life. But at SCAD, you can't miss more than 4 classes or else you fail the class. So I had already missed my 4 classes. I had to be there. And I didn't wear glasses at that time, and I should have been. So anytime I needed to look at a screen, I had to go like this. Because I had to like focus on the screen. So Ngozi, I turn around and look at Ngozi like, and like I wasn't actually mad. I just like couldn't really see her, and I was also extremely ill.
But that's where the nickname was cemented. Right
Yeah,
there.
that was where it was cemented. And so Ngozi, I just saw Ngozi go like,
I was right to assume you hated me.
girl hates me. And then we became best friends, and Ngozi was one of the bridesmaids in my wedding.
Yay. Go to applause. That was
That was the best experience we had. That was, like,
Yeah.
certainly the most impactful art school experience.
And I'm very happy to know you. I was singing your praises yesterday directly at you.
So it really is the friends you make along. I would say yes, that is definitely the benefit of art school, is that you will make lifelong friends. It's important to be amongst other creatives that are also dedicated to like really making it work. And that's something that's difficult to teach yourself if you're going like the self-taught route. YouTube can teach you anything these days. That is something that's difficult. That will be more difficult to get, that art school can give you.
It's true.
Like-minded people to keep you going when you
Exactly.
think that's the worst script ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
You are such a talented writer. No, but it is true that like when it comes to art school, that is the kind of invaluable experience. Just the fact that you will meet people who, I think now I've known people from our grad class. It's been like 10 years, 12 years. And these are people who are also in the industry. They give me feedback. They give me career advice. So yeah.
Wow. Now to know the lore.
The lore,
Good.
enemies.
I was just getting a message that the books are going to be available for signing at 7:08, which I think is the vendor location.
708. You guys can go to get our books.
All right, cool. And you're going to sign them apparently, so that's
Yes.
even better. So one thing that came to mind as you're describing this wonderful story, your love story, I'm so glad you guys met that in a time when Google existed, because I'm having this vision of Ngozi coming in hot, like down a hallway, or like walking into a class, like poof. That, and there was kind of a Breakfast Club kind of thing with the printers. Anyway, if anybody has seen that movie, I'm dating
Hell
myself.
yeah. Heck yeah. I have to stop.
Heck yeah.
Saying swears.
All right. So this is my last official question that we have, but we can just chat, whatever. What piece of advice would you give to your past self when deciding on a school, or as you were about to enter school?
This would be specific. It would be more towards like when I'm in my last year of college, but I think I would tell myself, don't make a game demo for your senior project. You're never going to code again. I don't know why I did that. I'm like, you should have just made a comic, or like done something with illustration. Anyway, that's what I would tell myself. Yeah.
I think I would like to direct something to myself like 2 years ago, after having gone through all of art school for comic books and then doing comics for like 10 years. It's okay to like do something new after a while. Like now I'm getting into concept art for games. I just got my first freelance contract, and I feel like all of the sudden, like my capacity to learn and to grow as an artist has just like exploded, like in an entirely new way, after a period of like very long stagnation of just doing the same thing over and over again. So even if, you've done it all, you've gone to school, you've got the job, you're successful, if you can always do something else, you can always start new. And hopefully what you have been doing can give you like a really comfortable ramp into whatever you want to do next. But it's never too late to try something else. It's never too late to get into a new career, especially in arts. You can because you've given yourself, if you do decide to go to art school or you're working professionally as an artist, you've already given yourself a very good foundation to, skills that will take you to something else that it would be difficult to know if you hadn't already been like that far into your experience.
Life experience is a thing.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
And for myself, I tend to be very much a type A planner person, maybe overly so. I would just tell myself to chill out a little bit more. Just there's some times where I like making comics or getting to a certain convention.
Maybe not the Kickstarter flex in the class.
Oh my God. I would not. I think just telling myself to calm down a little bit because things will be okay. You don't have to like have everything in order to succeed. But it really felt like life or death sometimes. And it's just Garfield. It's just cartoons. Like it's just webcomics.
Oh yeah, that's another thing is that like if you are working in some sort of creative field, not to be like you should be thankful, but like it is important every once in a while when you're like I hate this, I hate what I'm doing, to just like turn around and be like I'm making funny books. I'm making funny books. It is not the end of the world.
I'm making boom pow. People are kissing. People are punching. They're aliens. Yeah.
Boom pow aliens.
Boom pow aliens.
Love it. Okay, so what's coming up next? New, upcoming books coming out, upcoming projects, new media that you're suddenly enamored with, or you're finally getting a chance to pursue?
Ooh, I am working on my second book. Yeah, I just got the script like finalized, greenlit, and I'm so ready. I'm really excited for it to start sketching soon. It's gonna be another like sapphic romance, but this time with like more elements of fantasy and maybe a more mature theme. I'm like, I don't want to spoil my own, but like I'm excited. Yeah.
We'll get a little sneak peek into the process, a little preview.
Oh, like a wait.
I'm just saying that's what you're giving us right now. It's a little bit of a gift.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I've been watching The Penguin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard that's good from multiple people.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. The writing's pretty good. Yeah. That's what I'm up to. Yeah.
I'm now trying to go full time into concept art. I'm going to put aside for a little bit, comics as my full-time job. I'm still going to make them for myself, but yes, I'm heavily pursuing the W-2 avenue right now, as I call it. I don't want to do my own taxes anymore. I want them to take the taxes out and then give me the W-2. But yes, so concept art has been great. I've been really enjoying it. I'm doing smaller freelance projects for different clients. And recently I've been reading all of the Dune books, and I'm on Children of Dune right now. It just got very weird.
Oh. Would you recommend?
I would say if you have watched the movie, it's much weirder in the book.
Oh.
And you can tell there's a lot of parts where you're like, I understand why they didn't put this in the movie.
Okay, cool.
But I've been liking it. It's
okay.
It's very bizarre.
Remember, the first book was required reading for a summer reading for high school.
That's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Children of Dune, that's where it all goes off the rails.
Okay. So I'm currently working with DC Comics on a sequel to my graphic novel Barda. It is called Orion, and it's a story of a cosmic prince from a utopia planet who discovers that his actual father is an evil tyrant. And it's a remake or reintroduction of a Jack Kirby character, Orion. If you guys know anything about Jack Kirby, just father of superhero comics. So I'm writing and drawing that. And I have a graphic novel out next year and called Flip. And Flip is the story. So Flip is probably my most autobiographical story, even though it's like a fantasy story. And it's the story of a young Nigerian girl who is at a private high school in Texas. And she has a crush on this rich white jock. His name is Flip. It's like a good old Texas name. Flip Anderson. And she basically asks him out to the dance at the end of senior year. He obviously says no because she's a massive nerd. And then the next day she goes to sleep and she wakes up in Flip's body and Flip wakes up in hers. The story's called Flip.
She gets Freaky Friday.
She gets Freaky Friday. I've been pitching it as like Freaky Friday meets Get Out. Because I have to get out of each other's bodies. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I just finished the cover for it, and it'll come out fall of next year. Everyone should check it out. And what I'm into now, I'm just like Jack Kirby pilled. I'm just rereading all of The Fourth World again and again.
Well, and you mentioned New Yorker.
Oh yeah, I do a lot of stuff with the New Yorker. Hopefully, we'll have like a fun little cartoonist get together in January. New Yorker cartoonists are cool. They're crazy. So yeah.
So my wife is addicted to the New Yorker as a magazine.
Really?
I am calling her out. It's true. I cannot get into the writing. I just go there for the cartoon. So I'm really excited to know that you're doing that.
You had one in recently, right?
Yeah. I had a New Yorker cartoon that was like about the Justice League, and I'm like, I don't know how this snuck its way into this highbrow magazine, but it's an interesting magazine. I'm actually writing like a fun BL romance about a New Yorker cartoonist.
I'm listening.
Oh no, I don't know. Oh, it's not real yet. I'll post it on AO3 though when I'm done. It'll be under male OC/male OC.
We have to go to the fandom panel for that.
Yes.
But it's not fandom. It's my original story.
Oh yeah.
So
That counts.
EL3 is it?
No, AO3.
Archive of our own.
You seem like an adjusted adult if you don't know what AO3 is.
Yeah.
You seem, responsible.
It's unfortunate. It's true. Anyway, so that's what we have today. Is there any last words you'd like to say? Anything you'd like to plug? Shout outs,
Do we
whatever.
have any time for questions or
We can
no?
totally do
no
questions.
question time.
Okay, someone's telling me I got 8 minutes. Who's got a question? I'll hand you a dad of the future art student. Thank you.
Do I need to?
Yeah.
So if I know somebody mentioned self-talk.
Girl, don't cover your face. Sorry. Don't be embarrassed.
So this isn't her question; it's mine. So I was just curious if any of your peers, or if all of your peers went to some sort of post-high school formal education, and if somebody was thinking that they would try to jump right in, or what you would, I guess, caution them against, what they might be, what they're risking, what they would be missing out potentially.
I always tell people when they're like, should I jump right into art school or should I like take some time? I think that doing a year or two at a different school first to really let yourself decide, like, hopefully save some money if you go to like a local college or something that's like a little less expensive than art school, to get some of your foundation classes and like general classes out of the way first, save some money that way. Also, that can give you time to like explore your own relationship to art. Like, is this something that really means a lot to me at this time? Is this something that I want to pursue that I'm missing? Like in my case, where I felt like I was missing it in my freshman year. And I'm like, okay, I do want to do that. I thought maybe I didn't. I was confused. But that gave me the time to sort of make that decision in a more, reasonable amount of time than like jumping right in.
And I agree. Even though I did go straight from undergrad to graduate school, or straight from high school to college to graduate school, I think I was a freshman counselor when I was in college, and I noticed that the students who took a gap year in between high school and college were truly just so mature and knew exactly what they wanted. That time you spend away from school, away from institutions, away from kind of like the influence of your peers, you learn so much about yourself in that time span. So anytime you can spend just kind of being introspective and on your own and living in the real world it's a wonderful investment.
I don't know. Wow, those are really good answers. I don't think I have much to add to that. But yeah, now I'm wondering if I had also took some time, maybe I would have felt, maybe I would have had a clearer vision of what my goal was when I went through college instead of graduating and then being like, oh, actually, I want to like.
Well, what do I do now?
I know exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think I can definitely see the benefits of that.
Great question.
So next week we're going to Cornish to on a campus tour, and I'm wondering if there's anything that you would recommend that we ask about or dig into or look for when we're doing an on-site visit at an art school.
Maybe because I don't know what they're doing now. Maybe if you ask them if they're still like what they're, what is that? Because so when I went to school, they had the module system, which is like it's like you have a regular semester, and then that semester is like split up, I think, into thirds, and you're basically like switching out like every module for like this one semester. And I personally did not like that because, again, I felt like it was like giving too much options, like not giving enough time to spend in one area, which I guess you could also take like the same class 3 times. But anyway, maybe I would ask about if they're still doing that, like how their semesters are structured now, because it could be different now. I'm not sure. But yeah, and like see if that's something that you would be okay with, and like see how that feels to you, I would say. Yeah.
But possibly maybe also taking a really close look at that material and comparing it to whatever other schools.
Yeah.
Because they
Right,
might be
right.
doing something similar.
True.
And so just kind of being aware that the approach to and setup of the classes can be impactful.
Yeah, because maybe it will work for you, like that sort of system.
Make sure you ask them how many business classes they're giving you.
Yes.
Make sure you ask them if they're going to teach people how to figure out freelancer taxes, especially. Make sure you ask them, like, how do you make money in different ways? What are the different revenue streams available? And what does it really take to make a career? What is their percentage of graduates that actually go on to do a full-time career in the curriculum that you're looking at? So I would say even beyond like the art classes, make sure that they're teaching you how to live with that career, for the long term.
Co-sign everything Matt said. And maybe one thing I would add is looking at what the seniors are producing. If they're producing art that makes you excited, then you might be in the right place. See if you can ask questions to get that art in front of your face.
Yes.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. I saw a hand over here, so.
Hi, I was just wondering, like, what if you want to go to an art school, but you aren't sure what to major in? Like, what advice would you have for someone who's going through that?
Yeah, I definitely think this could be a situation where if you go to like a liberal arts college or like a state college or something for a year and sort of like keep that in mind, like, I would say try and start making things for yourself, like right away, and whatever you are sort of vibing with the most, like whether it's a comic, whether it's a video game, whether it's like an animatic or something like that, just sort of learning what it takes to make that sort of thing, because you're going to be doing it full time for a very long time. And like I said, it's always fine to change your mind. You can always do something else, but just know that when you narrow into something, it will be something that hopefully you're excited about doing long term.
Honestly, that's a really good answer. Going to a cheaper school for a year than transferring to an art school so you don't have to
See, I did it wrong because Emerson was also expensive.
Oh, sorry. And then I don't know.
But no,
yeah.
you should go to cheaper school first, but if you want to.
I agree.
Community college.
Community college. Community college.
Community
Yes.
college, take art classes online. That's the way to go.
I mean, yeah, agree. I think for me, there wasn't as much of a risk because I had it feels weird to say it like this, but like the privilege of being poor enough that financial aid really came through for me.
Yeah. My parents helped me.
No, that's good too. I'm so
I'm
glad.
privileged in that way.
Yeah, so yeah. But if that was a problem, like finances, then yeah, I can definitely see going to like community college, for example, taking art classes, especially if you're not like super sure yet. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things you said about, something you're going to be doing for a while, it takes a while to master something.
Yes.
So giving yourself that time and space to try and fail and kind of evolve.
Like, what would I be most fine failing at and trying again would probably be a good indication.
Where is my favorite place to face plant?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our time for today. I'd like to thank our panelists for joining us today.
Thank
our
you,
first
guys.
day of GeekGirlCon.
Thank you
so
all.
much.
Thank you for coming.
you.
Good luck to you all.
All right, we're good.